Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for showing up to our little breakout session here at Red Hat Summit. Securing your cloud-ready infrastructure without disrupting operations. I'm David Gilpin. I'm a principal consultant in our infrastructure team, and I am based in North Texas. We invite you to come to our booth over here in the Expo. We're back over on one side, so we really invite you to come by. Since this is an Oracle presentation, I have to show you the safe harbor statement. I won't be redoing any futures, but this is for information purposes only. It's not a contract. I'm not committing to deliver anything except what we've already delivered. So it's pretty much the way the safe harbor statement works. But there's no futures, so we're all good. Okay. So, boy, what a wacky world we live in today, right? Wouldn't it be great if we had hackers that would actually develop code for good instead of code for bad? And in fact, hacking and cybercrime have become big business. There is a great website you can go called the Breach Level Index database. It's out there. And the last data we had was 2016. There were over 1,792 breaches reported. And those are the breaches that were reported. A lot of companies won't report their breaches. It's pretty embarrassing. Total number of data records, you can see there, a lot, over 1.4 billion data records taken. You can actually pay on the dark web to get things. For about $7, you can pay to have robots initiate a denial of service attack on your website if you'd like. About $1,000, you can get anybody's health insurance data. Isn't that scary? I don't want people to know my health insurance data. Read another statistic here. If you want to get pretty much any of our identities, passport, social security number, whatever you want, you can pay about $40 if you want to, and get just about anything you'd like. And the total costs now, a lot. I guess there was recent headlines where was it some hospitals in Atlanta ended up having to pay Bitcoin to get their health care computers released from the bad guys. It's horrible, right? So major sectors are getting hacked every day. Here's some statistics. Funny that healthcare is the biggest piece of the pie. You would think that that would be the one that we would concentrate on more just because of HIPAA and everything else. But as we also know, a lot of the healthcare industry is controlled by verticals. And a lot of those systems tend to get antiquated. A lot of hospitals tend to have pretty antiquated systems. So that's why their piece of the pie is so large. The other one that's scary is the financial services. That one's really scary. That's where our money sits. That's where our 401ks sit, right? But no one's immune. No one is immune on this. So here's some different, probably, sorry for the eyes chart, but $191 million U.S. voter database back in 2015. That's just in the government sector. We sure don't. We don't need any more of those news out there, voting fraud, all that stuff. We sure don't need that anymore. Now, how many here, we're at a Linux show. How many here are Linux folks, right? Come on, Linux folks. Yes, we love Linux, right? Remember the good old days when we would say, I use Linux. I don't have to worry about being hacked. Windows got hacked. We didn't get hacked. Mac people, they didn't get hacked. Remember those days? Those days are over. They get their own logos now. When did that happen? Dirty Cow, Shell Shock, Heartbleed. When did that happen? When did we start branding our exploits? And the tech media. Lord knows the register.co.uk loves a good hacking story, a good exploit story. It makes big news. So we need to be able to protect our systems. I wish there was a Windows admin in the room. Here's the slide for them. Isn't patching fun? Don't we come to work every day just, oh, I want to patch our systems? And usually the Windows admin's looking at his shoes about now. Patching sucks. It's no fun. It's just no fun at all. So the point of this is we're poking fun at something we really don't want to do, but we have to do it. So let's think about the business impact. What do we have to do? You know, if you're an admin at home, just yum, update all, and reboot the server, right? And it ain't that easy. We have users. Remember those people we have to deal with? Users. You know, in IT, we tend to not want to deal with them, but they're kind of important. So we've got to do things like work with change management, schedule the database to go down, shut the whole stack down, do the patch, do kind of a smoke test to make sure it didn't break something, bring the stack back up, look at it, make sure it's good, and put it back into production. How long does it take a quad socket, 96 core, 1 or 2 terabyte of RAM box to power on self-test these days? Like 40 minutes if you do full post on it? Some of these big servers take forever to reboot. So your systems are down for a while. Even a simple just bounce the box, it takes a while. When you think about having to bring everything back up, you're talking about an hour or two just for a simple reboot. The other situation is, if you know Murphy's Law, remember the old Murphy? He infests data centers. He does. Things happen. Things break. You'll have a plan and it doesn't work out. So how many here were worried, you know, we had to do a quarterly update or something when Shell Shock came out, and then a week later there was another one. And then you got to go through an unscheduled downtime to patch the next logoed exploit, right? We don't like to have to do that. Wouldn't it be great if we could do something to knock out at least half of all the stuff we have to do in order to do these mission-critical updates? Wouldn't it be great if there was a technology for that? You just patch it, and you don't reboot. Oracle has that technology. It's called K Splice. K Splice was a company that we purchased back in 2010, a group of extremely wicked, talented MIT folks. And they had a technology that allows kernel patches at the time to be installed without any reboots. So we now have extended that technology for both our Oracle Linux and Oracle VM. So our virtualization technology, we can also do the rebootless updates. We also have extended it to include user space, so we can do glibc and OpenSSL. Those are the two libraries that will really bite you. That was the old shell shock. So if we had K Splice user space back out at that time, we could have mitigated shell shock without incurring any reboots. Think about compliance. You don't have to wait for the next outage in order to bring your machines up to compliance. There's another thing we can do to do with support. We'll cover that in a little bit. So we can limit those exploits so that you don't get embarrassed. You don't end up on CNBC or CNN or FNN. Don't want to be there. And now your C-level folks, your CIO, CEO, your corporate information security officer, your CISO, he or she won't be staring down your neck. So it just offers some really good business practices. You can maintain your compliant machines, patching user space as usual, do some of your kernel and system space stuff using K Splice without any reboots. If you need to do some CVE patching, you can do those immediately. You don't have to wait. Don't have to worry about a reboot. And then if you're doing some sort of a strange support situation, here's a scenario. You've got an Oracle database running on a Linux machine. And the Oracle database is supporting something important. Let's say your financials. And the box is just happy as a lark throughout every time except the end of a quarter. And for whatever reason, the box just has a fit at the end of a quarter. It slows down, it acts funny, drags, users are complaining, the calls come in. So you reboot the Oracle database server, and it just gets healthy again. Probably a memory leak. It's the bane of programmers' existence. It's just the way it is. Well, those are a pain to have to figure out. Those kind of bugs where it just gets sick once in a while are very difficult, because when you reboot the box, the problem goes away. With K Splice, we can actually use the tool to act as, think of it as a sniffer, to figure out what's going on with the kernel, figure out what the memory leak is, and actually issue a patch for the mitigation without rebooting. So the box is still sick, so you can make sure that you're fixing it without having to actually reboot the box. So support remediation is an important feature of K Splice that's not commonly thought about. Your systems need to remain compliant. We want to reduce your exposure to the bad stuff. Your officers want to make sure they're breathing down your neck. I was giving a workshop one time at a hosting provider, and actually wasn't even a K Splice-led conversation, and I gave them a little pitch and a little presentation, a little demo in K Splice. And two of their Linux admins, they came, and they were like, "You did it rebootlessly?" "Yeah." He goes, "Could you show me that again?" And I rolled back the patch, and the guys went, "You can roll them back too?" And I said, "Yeah." And they whispered, and they said, "You could do all that without a reboot?" "Yeah." It says, "Wow." It says, "All you need is Oracle Linux with Premier?" "Yeah." They already had Premier support. They didn't know that they had the feature. I showed them where the product was, how they could get to it. They left my workshop. They went and came back about an hour later, and they were all smiles. And I says, "Guys, what's the big deal?" Because we have a machine. It's hosted in our site for a healthcare. It's a clinic, public healthcare clinic, with an Oracle database back in. And it's open 24/7, 365. And they had a bunch of CVEs they needed to apply. Their security officer was breathing down their neck, but they couldn't get the clinic to close because it's open 24/7, 365. And the brilliance of that situation, they did not have the database racked. It was a single instance database. They couldn't do anything. The guys went in, applied the K Splice patches, the box is compliant, the security officer is fine, and they couldn't have done it without K Splice. So that was a real-world example of where K Splice could really help something out in real time and keep that machine compliant. CVEs are a pain. They're a bane of our existence. We can now patch nearly all of those CVEs with that. Users don't know that the system's being patched. Your customers don't know that the system's being patched. And all of your information assurance team smile at you instead of call you, which is a good thing. As I mentioned before, we can do it to diagnose situations, resolve degraded systems without rebooting the box. Rebooting the box sometimes will fix the problem. We don't want to fix that. We don't want to make it go away. We want to actually apply a patch or work out a patch that will make the system solved long term. So how do you get K Splice? Well, what's really neat is it's included with our Oracle Linux Premier support offering, both for on-prem and for Oracle Cloud. There's no add-ons, there's no fulfillments, nothing like that. There's no extra licenses to buy. If you have our Premier level support, it's included with that level of support. We've made it pretty easy. When we first bought K Splice, there was only an online method of applying the little splices, but we have converted the splices into convenient RPM channel format. So if you use common technologies like Spacewalk or just a Yum server or however you normally apply RPM-based channels, K Splice will work just fine with that. Uses your existing patching methodologies. It covers whatever kernel you have. Our Red Hat compatible kernel, the Red Hat kernel, or our Unbreakable Enterprise kernel. All the kernels are covered. Don't have to worry about what kernel that you have. And our K Splice user space covers currently OpenSSL and glibc. But wait, there's more. If you buy Oracle Linux and Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, all of those instances get access to K Splice zero-time updates, no additional cost. It's included in your OCI support fees. It's built, it's baked in. Every instance in OCI has Oracle Linux K Splice. Okay, so sort of summing things up, and we'll have some time for questions. You can apply your critical updates and security patches without rebooting, eliminating that downtime, and not have to worrying about bringing things down and back up. You can coordinate K Splice with, doing hot patching. That'll improve that security of your systems, keep them more compliant. Don't have to worry about things breaking down or the patch of the month club. You can apply them very quickly. One question you might have is, well, okay, let's say that there's a new exploit comes out called mouse, and it hits the net today, and everybody's talking about the mouse bug. When will you have the patch? Well, as soon as the patches are available. In some cases, we have had the K Splice patches for an exploit out a few hours before they were available from RHN or the normal patching methodologies. We really try to get those patches out the door. You don't wait for them. We're really Johnny on the spot with getting those patches ready. And of course, enhanced security and therefore reduced operations cost. One of the old mantras from the K Splice team was, sysadmins, take back your weekends. Instead of having to wait and do patching over a weekend, you can actually do it during business hours. So what can you do now? Well, we've made it very easy for anybody to try K Splice. There's a very nice K Splice microsite, ksplice.oracle.com. ksplice.oracle.com. Lots of information there. The original MIT white paper from when they released it is there. You can read the old. It's pretty technical, but it's there. We have a nice little, quickly little demo that shows you sort of a quick implementation of some K Splice splices on the fly. If you see right, my pointer's not bright enough. It says try K Splice. If you click on that Try K Splice, it will take you to a page. We give away K Splice as technology demonstrations for Ubuntu desktop and Fedora desktop. So if you want to play with it on Fedora desktop, all you need to do is just go to ksplice.oracle.com, click Try K Splice. It'll show you how to download it for Fedora. You can play with it in VirtualBox or however you want to play with it. All of the features are there. All of the command line tools are there if you want to play with K Splice on Fedora desktop. We also have a thing called a K Splice inspector. You want to check to see if the kernel that you're using is covered. You can go to the K Splice inspector page, run that command, and it will tell you if we have a spliced kernel available for your situation. And again, if you'd like to also do a trial for Red Hat, for RHEL, we offer a free 30-day trial, full implementation of K Splice for RHEL. Okay? And again, this is the try page, the free desktop edition is there. We will make these slides available to download later through the show, so these will be available later. You can always come by our booth. We've got information there. We can always let you see that. Or you can take a picture of the screen. That's a good idea, too. And we're very social these days. We've got a nice penguin cutout in our booth. If you'd like to do a selfie in our booth, take a picture with an armor-clad tux. He likes hashtags, so you can come do that.